This could be the battle of the century.
No way.
Yes, Trader Joe's highest quality private label wine versus the same from Costco's Kirkland Signature Series.
Oh my.
Are you ready?
I'm so ready.
Stay tuned to see who comes out on top. Hello, and welcome to the Wine Pair Podcast. I'm Joe, your sommelier of reasonably priced wine, and this is my wife and my wine pairing partner in crime, Carmela.
Hi there.
And we are the Wine Pair.
Woohoo!
If you're new to our podcast, here's what you can expect. If you love wine and you want to find great wines at affordable prices, and you want to expand your wine horizons, and you want to have some laughs and fun while doing it, then you're in the right place.
That's right.
Each week, we explore a different wine varietal or style or brand or region of the winemaking world, and we learn about what makes them worth knowing about. And then we taste 2 to 3 of those wines that are reasonably priced to let you know if they're worth your hard-earned money. So if that feels like your vibe, we're super happy to have you here.
Yay, because your vibe attracts your tribe.
That's right. And we're proud to say that Decanter Magazine calls us fun, irreverent,
Chatty,
and entertaining. Okay, Carmela, this week we're going to do something I am super excited about, and it's something we have never done before.
Oh my God, getting crazy.
Going crazy. Now, we have done several episodes on Trader Joe's wines where we compare various tiers of Trader Joe's reserved wines. You know, Grand Reserve, sometimes I call them Grand Reserve, Platinum Reserve, and plain old Reserve.
Oh, just plain old Reserve.
Yeah, and we compare those to similar wines that have the same approximate price to see which we think is a better value, right?
All right.
And we have done many Costco Kirkland Signature Wine Challenge episodes where we try a Kirkland Signature wine and compare it to similar wines that are similarly priced to see which one we think is a better value, right?
Right.
However, we have never done what we're going to do today, and that is compare the 2 top tiers of Trader Joe's reserved wines and Costco Kirkland Signature wines head to head to see which one is better. Isn't this fun?
I'm so excited about this.
Now get this. Here's the 2 wines.
Okay.
The 2022 Trader Joe's Diamond Reserve Oakville Napa Valley Cabernet Sauvignon lot number 3.
Oh, lot number 3, eh?
Not number 2, not lot number 4, lot number 3 versus the 2022 Kirkland Signature Series Oakville Napa Valley Cabernet Sauvignon.
Lot number?
They don't do lot numbers.
Okay.
Now, here's why this is really interesting, Carmela. First, as I mentioned, both of these wines are the top tiers of their respective retailers' private labels, right?
Oh, fancy.
And so a couple of months, super fancy.
Kind of fancy.
Yeah. So a couple of months ago.
Fancy and affordable.
Fancy and affordable.
Nice.
Like you. Okay, so a couple of months
It's kind of true, actually.
It is kind of. Okay, are you going to let me tell the story?
I'm not really fancy. Okay.
Can I tell the story?
I know, I keep cutting you off.
Okay, so a couple of months ago, I found one of the rare and very coveted Trader Joe's Diamond Reserve wines, and I snagged it immediately because I knew I wanted to do an episode on it.
Did everybody watch you, walk away with it?
Yeah, I put it under my coat.
I was like, who's that guy?
Yeah, why is he
Where
taking
did
that?
he come from?
Wow.
Oh, that's really an old song.
You're kind of on fire. I'm liking this. Okay, Diamond Reserve wines, Carmela, are said to be very hard to find, and they are supposed to fly off the shelves. So just finding one in and of itself was kind of fun.
Be careful if they're flying off the shelves.
Yeah, well, that's true. They could hit you in the head.
Right.
Now, in fact, Trader Joe's says that there are very few wines that make Diamond Reserve status. And then, about a month ago at Costco, I found a similar wine of theirs in their top tier, which they call their Kirkland Signature Series, and I snagged it too. And then when I got home, I realized exactly what I had done. I had chills. I started sweating.
The hair on your arms were standing up.
Oh, on the back of my neck, all that hair on the back of my neck.
Say, yikes.
It's kind of getting very kind of hairy right now. Okay.
A real sight.
Now, Carmela, when I say these are similar wines, I'm not joking around. In fact, in almost every way, they are the same. Each wine was $19.99. Each wine is a Cabernet Sauvignon from Napa. Each wine is from the specific Oakville area of Napa. Each wine is from the 2022 vintage. And each wine also has a black label, which is neither here nor there, but I found that interesting. You just cut me off, but go ahead.
Okay, but do you think they're partnering?
Well, we're going to look through, I don't think so, but we're going to look through the mystery.
Okay.
So that means we have a super intriguing head-to-head going on. The same year, the same wine, the same price, the same varietal, the same specific area, and the same top tier of each retailer's private label wine. So, oh my God.
You are amazing.
I know.
Joe.
Now, there are a few slight differences, at least what we think is different, that we don't know the winemakers, or at least one of the winemakers. We don't know how they produce the wine.
We don't know the lot of one of them.
That's true. And we don't know how similar these wines are. This is kind of what you were getting at in terms of vineyards, too. So they say Oakville, but we don't know exactly what vineyards in Oakville. So we're going to dig around a little bit to see if we can find that out. We'll do that in the next section. But the other thing that's different about these wines, which is kind of telling, is that one of them, the Trader Joe's wine, is 15% alcohol, and the Kirkland Signature Series wine is 14% alcohol. Wow. So that can often tell you some important things about wine production and vineyard conditions.
Okay, give it to me.
I'm so happy you said to give it to you.
Wow.
We're going to pause for a second so I can give it to her. No, all right. Okay, here's some fun facts about why alcohol content can tell you things about a wine that you may never know.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
First, alcohol content in wine is based on a few things, and one of the main ones is the amount of sugar in the juice at harvest. And sugar, after all, is what's converted by yeast into alcohol, so sugar content obviously matters a ton. You may ask next, Carmela, what can impact the amount of sugar?
Really, what can impact the amount of sugar, Joe?
Well, I'm going to tell you. First, how much direct sun the vineyard gets matters because more sun exposure means more sugar in the grapes. This is also why warmer climate wines tend to have higher alcohol. So that's why California wines are sometimes higher in alcohol. Also, how long the grapes are left to ripen matters because grapes that are picked later in the fall when they're more ripe have higher sugar content than those picked earlier. So you're already learning some things. Is it high sun exposure or not? Did they pick them early or late?
Wow.
Right?
I'm learning so much. Thank you.
But there's more.
Oh my God.
Hold on, there's more.
Wait a minute. Who's really on fire tonight?
I am totally on fire.
Totally on fire.
I'm starting to burn
I'm
and smoke.
saying,
I
you're
smell
kinda
at least. I don't know. Okay.
You're sweating. I can tell.
I am sweating. This is true. Okay. Winemaking techniques can also impact alcohol content. So here's a few ways that can happen. Sometimes winemakers manipulate the amount of sugar in wines by adding some sugar in the fermentation process. That's called chaptalization.
Wow.
Okay. It's a little more rare these days. Higher quality wines will really not do it, but it's not unheard of, especially in cheaper wines. So sometimes when you're getting those wines off the, bottom shelf, you may be getting wines where they added sugar. Sometimes also a winemaker can add more water into the wine. Again, not going to happen with great wines, but that to reduce the alcohol content or sugar content. Now, more likely to have happened, how long the wine is fermented matters because longer fermentation means more sugar is converted into alcohol. The yeast matters because some yeast is more tolerant to higher levels of alcohol, and so they can continue to convert sugar for a longer period of time. Or as the alcohol content gets higher, they don't die. They keep making more alcohol. And the temperature of the fermentation matters. Warmer fermentation speeds up the fermentation process. It can also impact the taste of the wine, which is why you often hear top flight wines having cooler temperature controlled fermentation. So while we don't know the true reason why the alcohol content in these two wines is different, we can make some conjectures related to the vineyard, the time of picking, the winemaking techniques, and we may be able to tell some of that in the tasting.
Right.
So now you may also be asking, who cares? Who cares about the alcohol content?
Well, I know who does.
Who?
You.
Okay, but why should we care? Why should we care?
About the alcohol? Well, it changes the flavor.
It does. It makes you more drunk. No, but beyond making you more drunk, but go ahead. Yeah.
No, that's what I was going to say. Mostly, it changes the flavor of a wine, and it makes you more drunk.
Exactly. There's
Wait,
a few.
what other things?
No, that is part of it. So
okay.
One thing is that higher alcohol wines tend to have bigger body. The high alcohol increases the sensation of big body. It also increases the sensation of sweetness, which is kind of interesting. Like you said, aromas and flavors get impacted a lot because alcohol carries flavors. This is why extracts, right, are whatever with alcohol. This is also why non-alcoholic wines sometimes don't taste as good because they've removed a lot of the things that carry, with alcohol, they've removed things that carry the flavor.
Yes, definitely lighter wines when it's non-alcoholic, for sure.
And not as flavorful, too. They don't have as much body, they don't have as much flavor. And the amount of alcohol can also impact the balance. A wine needs to have the right balance of tannin and acid and alcohol to feel like it's a balanced wine. And that's sometimes why I think, or we sometimes say California wines are kind of punch you in the face wine, because I think sometimes they are so high in alcohol that they can often feel like or taste like they lack balance. But that's
why some people probably really like them.
It's like you read the script because I put that down. Some people do like that aspect of it.
Right. Well, sure.
So,
one glass and you're like, woo!
Let's go.
Party.
Ow. So there's some fun facts. I think we need to get back to the contest. So I'm excited to taste and review these two wines. I'm excited to see if we can tell the difference, if we think one is better than the other, or if we think maybe they're the same wine. Who knows, right?
It's a big deal.
Yeah, we're going to do a little bit more sleuthing too, Carmela. But first,
you got to do our shameless plug.
Well, that's
you
right.
You almost threw me off there. I was like,
I did. It was so good. That segue was so.
Yeah.
But you caught it. It's like you've done this before.
I mean, thankfully I caught it. You really wonder if I actually was here.
Yeah. Well,
every week I am, but
no, I pretty much know when you're here. Okay. We do want to thank you for listening to us and supporting our show. And if you haven't had the chance to do so yet, now would be the perfect time to follow or subscribe to our podcast. And thank you so much to all of you who've done that. And another great way to support us is to leave a nice 5-star rating and review for us, because that's a great way for us to continue to grow our listeners. You can also follow us and see pictures of the wines we're tasting and trying today, weird AI pictures, sometimes weird videos too, that I like to make on Instagram at The Wine Pair Podcast. We're also on Blue Sky. You can contact us on our website, thewinepairpodcast.com. You can sign up for our email newsletter there. And you just missed the April newsletter, but don't worry. If you email me at joe@thewinepairpodcast.com, I will send you the newsletter.
Nice.
So I'll hand deliver it to you.
Wow.
And on our website, you can also find links in a section called Shop Wine, where you can buy wines that we rate highly in each episode. Although I do have to admit, I have to do a little bit of working on the page. It's a little heavy right now, but I'm going to fix it. Don't worry, I'm going to fix it. But you can still go there.
I know that he will.
I will do it.
Yes, you can count on that.
Count on it. And we also want to make content that you care about. So send us a note, give us some feedback. Let us know if there's wines you want us to try or winemaking areas of the world that you're curious about, and we'll take care of it. Again, joe@thewinepairpodcast.com. A couple of quick shout outs to Justin, who asked us if we would consider trying some South American Pinot Noirs, because he's had a handful recently and he's liked them. So we're going to do that. He actually sent us some ideas for some Pinot Noir. So we're going to see if we can find them. Maybe we'll do an episode on high QPR Pinot Noir from South America specifically.
Yes.
And then our Instagram buddies, the East Idaho Foodies, asked us if we've ever done a Sirtiko, which is a Greek white wine. And way back in episode 20, we did do one.
I remember.
But we haven't done a full episode. So it feels to me like a good WTF.
Love it.
So we'll do that at some point.
Sounds good.
And as we do every week, we'll tell you someone we think you should recommend the Wine Pair podcast to, because frankly, that's the best way for us to grow listeners. When you tell your family and friends about us, I said family, but I meant family and friends about us. And this week, we want you to recommend us to anyone who's either a super fan of Trader Joe's reserve wines, or a super fan of Costco Kirkland signature wine, or if you know someone who's curious or just skep about these wines in general.
Bringing back skep, huh?
Yeah, if they don't know if they should pick up these wines, maybe we'll help them make a decision.
Okay.
All right?
I love it.
Okay, Carmela, the one thing that I can say about these wines, and we've talked about this in our previous episodes, is that it can be hard to find out much about the private label wines, including who makes them and how they're made.
Right.
And we've said this before, but Trader Joe's is particularly cagey about who makes their wines.
Kind of funny.
I know. It's weird. Now, Costco has been doing more sharing about who makes their wines. Sometimes
more
even
transparent, huh?
Yeah, a little bit more transparent. Sometimes even putting it on the bottle itself. And I think part of that is because their reputation is so strong that being associated with Costco ain't so bad.
Not ever.
It doesn't seem cheap,
No,
right?
no. Well, and I wonder too if that's going to make this wine more attractive, like if it's, or wine in general, for people who want to
I think
know.
so.
So watch out, T. Joe's.
Yeah, that's right, TJ Joe's. Okay, we should also note that it is significant that the wines are from the Oakville AVA in Napa. AVA stands for American Viticultural Area. That's an official designation. And Oakville is one of Napa's highest regarded sub-appellations, often compared to first growth Bordeaux. I mean, that's how good it is. So wines from there can be super expensive, generally $100 or more. And some of the most famous wineries in the United States are in that area, including Screaming Eagle, Opus One, Groth, Harlan, and Farniente. And these are wines that are generally considered big, concentrated, but still balanced. These are like heavyweight American wines. Wow. These are the big dogs.
Okay.
And so it's a big deal that these wines come from Oakville, and probably the only way you will ever get an Oakville Cabernet Sauvignon at anywhere near the price of $20. And that's why
at Costco.
Yeah, well, and that's why they have special labels at both Trader Joe's, the Diamond Reserve, and the Costco Signature Series. So it's not just a signature, it's a signature series. It comes with the black label, blah, blah, blah. So let's start with the Trader Joe's and see what we can find out about where their wine comes from and how it's made.
Okay.
So I did some research on the interwebs, also through the AI machines, and we have some links in our show notes. And they say they source these wines via a negociant model, which we have talked about before. And it's actually a very traditional way of making wines in places like Bordeaux and Burgundy. And it's also not uncommon in other areas of the world. Some people actually start wine brands through kind of a negociant model. And what that means, it's just a fancy way of saying a company or an individual, and they buy grapes or they buy grape juice or they buy finished wine from different wineries and vineyards, and then they bottle and sell the wine under their own brand or label, or sometimes through a private label.
Okay.
So, of course, if they're just buying the juice or the grapes, they'll also make or blend the wine. But sometimes they will buy finished wine and just relabel it. So this is actually a very traditional way of making wine. So Trader Joe's says that the wine is bottled by isolated sellers on their label. But in typical TJ's fashion, that's a shell company. It's not a real company. Remember, we did this before.
Right.
And it's a trademark connected with a group called Precision Wine Company, which is a Napa Valley negociant. And they claim this negociant claims that the wine comes from arguably the most famous and influential Oakville winery, but they don't say who that is. And it's unclear if the wine comes from a specific vineyard or lots of different vineyards. But that's why they're able to make this wine at such low prices, because they're telling you it's Oakville, but they're not telling you who made it. But they're trying to spin up the interest by saying it's the most famous and influential.
Isn't that something? They're kind of manipulating this whole thing.
I feel it's kind of like Severance. The work is mysterious and important, but we don't know what it is.
Yeah. So I think
we still don't know what the work is.
No, we don't. And I don't understand why we don't, but I don't understand why we don't know more about this wine, too.
I don't know.
It's mysterious.
This is what I wrote. Trader Joe's plays up the mysterious side of the wines as part of their appeal. And that annoys me, but some people like it.
I don't know why would you like it? Like, I could see you being indifferent about it, but like, I like having a mysterious wine.
I don't know. If you like mysteries in your wine, will you let us know?
Yeah, and what
tell
is
us
it about
what the appeal is?
Exactly.
Now, Trader Joe's does market these wines as offering premium quality at a value price, and they suggest that the Oakville Cabernet could be comparable to a $60 bottle. Wow. So the Diamond Reserve designation in itself implies that it's the cream of the crop, right? You don't see them very often. So the secrecy surrounding the producer from the Trader Joe's perspective gives it some perceived exclusivity, and they think it adds to the appeal. It made me curious.
Well,
when I saw the Diamond Reserve, I was like, I better buy this.
Well,
right?
Sure, but you're a sucker for anything like that. But
This is
it's a
actually
little
true.
shady. I feel like it's a little shady.
See, now you're starting to come around to the way I feel about it. Trader Joe's is a little shay-shay.
No, I just think about this.
Little
Perhaps.
shay-shay.
We're going to find out. Shay-shay and skep.
And skep. Mhm.
Wow. New Urban
Little
Dictionary
sus.
vocabulary for you.
Now, Carmela, let's turn to the Costco Signature Series.
Okay.
It's still mysterious, but less mysterious. So Costco sources this wine through a partnership with established Napa winemakers and producers or negociants. And while the exact grape growers are not named, the bottler for many of their wines is DC Flint MW Selections. That is a negociant firm, but they're very clear about who it is. They don't try to hide it by saying isolated sellers or whatever it is. They're saying it. So they're not trying to
feeling more, attached to this wine.
Exactly. And then they often disclose the winemaker on the back label. And for the 2022 vintage, they say it's Allison Crow. And she is a seasoned Napa winemaker. She makes other wines for them. The grapes are described as coming from select vineyards in the heart of Napa Valley, Oakville, AVA. So we know it's from multiple vineyards. They don't say which ones, but they're also clear that it's not a single vineyard, which is important. So it implies this blend. And in all three instances, the wine bottler, the winemaker, and the grapes, Costco is just more transparent than Trader Joe's. And so I think I'm like you. To me, it implies a little bit higher quality.
Right.
You know,
I don't
like-
know, but it'll be interesting to drink and find out.
Yeah, exactly. The Signature Series is their premium offering. They usually released annually. They're usually priced in the $18 to $20 range. But this last time I went to Costco, I saw another, it was actually another Napa Cabernet Sauvignon. It wasn't from Oakville, but it was actually, I think it was $22. So that's pretty rare for Costco for their private label to be that high. So interesting. So while you can find many Kirkland signature wines on your trip to Costco, like the Diamond Reserve from Trader Joe's, when you see one of these signature series wines, I think you should probably just maybe check it out. Like it's a good opportunity.
Because it might just fly off the shelf.
And it could be really good quality.
And it might be interesting to see it fly off the shelf.
And if it flies, duck.
Right. Get down.
Get down, get down, get down. Okay, let's,
So music break.
on that music break, let's learn a little bit more about these wines that we're tasting today. What do you say?
We have more to learn?
That's
My
right.
goodness. You dug really
I've got
deep.
a few more tidbits to share. Not
bring
a
it
lot.
on.
Not a lot of tids, but a few bits.
Okay.
What are tids? Okay, stop. I can't even
Wow.
believe I asked that.
Tidbits?
Okay, people.
different.
It's an
Tidbits
adult
are-
show,
okay.
but tids only sounds dirty. It's not actually
But tidbits are-
dirty.
is
I said
actually-
erdy.
Okay, but tidbits is one word, buddy.
I know, but it's combination. It's probably a portmanteau of tit and bits. I don't stop.
I
Okay.
don't even know I don't know what road you're going down.
I don't either. As usual, the wines we have chosen for this episode are under $25, and both of them should be relatively easy to find because I both bought them at Trader Joe's and Costco, respectively, which would be the only place that you should be able to find them. But again, you don't find these top tier wines too often, so if you see them, grab them. Okay. The first wine we're going to drink, again, is the 2022 Trader Joe's Diamond Reserve Oakville Napa Valley Cabernet Sauvignon lot number
5.
3. 3. Okay. You forgot already.
Oh my God. That's terrible.
We even went through it. It's not 2 or 4. You all went all the way to 5. You just skipped right over.
I was like, I want a lot 5.
I know.
I don't want the lot 3.
Lot 5 might be much better.
Ah,
okay. The reverse wine snob did not give this wine a huge rating, mostly because of the price. They actually gave the taste a 9 out of 10, but only a 3 in price. So their overall rating was a 7.5. They did note that in their tasting, they liked it better than the 2020 version of the same wine, which they found sweet and simple, and they did not recommend. Another reviewer called Blonde Voyage Nashville, that's their name, they said they liked the Platinum Reserve Cabernet Sauvignon better.
Okay.
So that's interesting. Now, the reverse wine snob also said something similar. Overall, it's not necessarily bad. It's just
Not necessarily bad. Okay,
They
that's
said-
not good.
No, they said it's just not even close to worth the price. There have been much, much better cab options
At Trader Joe's?
in the Platinum Reserve designation, which retail for $5 less.
Oh my.
So that's kind of
I
interesting.
mean, that's not a great
it's not.
way to explain something.
No,
Not
it's like
necessarily bad? Like, why would you drink that?
Well, the other thing is like, well, you could pay more, but you're kind of stupid.
Yeah, like, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Now, Vino Pointer, which is another website, they say that the wine is a Napa Cab for people that don't like Napa Cab, which could be interesting because we don't tend to love Napa Cabs. And in their online article, which I have a link to in our show notes, did you know we have show notes?
I knew that.
Yeah, if you go to our website, you can find our show notes. They say it's not heavily oaked. That's good. Heavily tannic and heavily extracted. It's a very uncab Cabernet. I think what they mean is an un-California Cabernet.
Right.
So that could be something we like. But what's interesting, a lot of different opinions about the wine.
Interesting is right.
The second wine we're going to drink is the 2022 Costco Signature Series Oakville Napa Valley Cabernet Sauvignon. And this one got an even lower overall score than the Trader Joe's from the Reverse Wine Snob. So lower. They like the taste a little bit less. They gave it an 8. They gave the Trader Joe's a 9. But since it was the same price, the overall rating was down to a 6.8, which is no longer recommended for them because they obviously weigh price really heavily in their ratings. We don't do that, by the way. We'll tell you the price, but we're going to give you the straight dope on how we think the wine tastes. They also said the wine lacks complexity. Wow. That's not super awesome.
No.
And this one, unlike the Trader Joe's for obvious reasons, has a review in the Costco wine blog. And they had a bit of a different take. The one thing they mentioned was that the 2021, which they rated a 92, was made by a different person. It was made by Glenn Hugo, who's another significant...
Hugo's.
Hugo. He's another significant California winemaker for Costco, and he's part of this DC Flint Negociant. And this vintage went back to Allison Crowe, who made the 2020. And they rated the 2020 a 90. So they gave the 2020 a 90, Allison Crowe. They gave the Glenn Hugo 2021 a 92. But this one, they gave an 89. So this one's, it's still a good rating, but it's a lower rating.
Right.
Now, they do mention that Allison Crowe has been the winemaker behind the Kirkland Alexander Valley Cabernet, and that Glenn Hugo is behind the Rutherford Cabernet and the Russian River Pinot Noir. They do recommend the wine, but they say it's maybe not what you would expect from a Cabernet Sauvignon from Oakville, even at $20. And it's the lowest rating they've given this wine going all the way back to 2013.
Whoa.
So this was not their favorite vintage, for sure, of this wine. Based on the description on the bottle, we can pretty much conclude that the wine is aged in French oak, which we've said many times is more mellow than American oak. And so we can expect it to probably have some like vanilla and cedar flavors, but I would expect both of these wines to be heavily oaked. But I think that's enough information, Carmela. I think we need to go to the battle.
Yeah, I'm afraid that we're just going to determine which one is less bad.
Well, I hope not. But let's do this, ladies and gentlemen. If you have an Oakville Cabernet...
I thought you were going to say, if you have a Coke.
No, I wouldn't say that. If you have an Oakville... Well, it's fine.
The way you said that.
If you have a Coke, it's fine.
Right.
But if you have an Oakville Cabernet Sauvignon, or any Cabernet Sauvignon, or any wine, and you drink along with us, participation points. Let us know if you have participation points, and we'll send you some stickers. Okay, we'll be right back. Okay, we are back and we're ready to try our first wine. I did know I didn't open up these wines earlier, and I probably should have, but since I didn't open up the Trader Joe's, I'm not going to open up the Costco. I want to be fair to both of them. Anyway, this is the Trader Joe's Diamond Reserve Oakville Napa Valley Cabernet Sauvignon lot number 3. It's from Napa Valley, California. The year is 2022. It was $19.99 at Trader Joe's. 15% alcohol, 100% Cabernet Sauvignon. Reverse Wine Snob gave it a 7.5. Sipped Reviews gave it a 92, and Vivino has a 4 rating. But before we taste it, Carmela, what do you think of the color?
Pretty.
It's very purple.
Yeah. Dark. It's dark and pretty.
Nearly opaque.
Yeah, and it doesn't have like, sometimes there's a little bit of a brown hue. I wonder if wait.
It is young. I mean, it's 2022.
I was just going to ask you, I would say probably because it's young. It just looks like a very, purpley glass of wine. Very pretty.
And you can tell the alcohol content because,
it's
legs.
Hot.
Legs don't mean anything other than alcohol content, and you can tell. And you think it smells a little hot?
I think
Let's
it
go
does,
to the smell.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I agree. You can smell the alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling like I'm smelling cherry juice. I talk about my Aunt Anne's cherry juice.
Yes. Yeah. I think for sure. Very juicy, and maybe some plum too, though. Like a dark plum. like a purple plum.
Yeah, I'm
almost.
with you. It's definitely dark fruits, like dark, juicy fruits. It's very juicy smelling. You said that. I'm getting a little bit of wood on it.
Or
like
matchstick, maybe even. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. I mean, there's a little pepper. There's a little pepper spice in it too, I feel like.
It is a little spicy smelling, huh?
But I am getting that matchstick or gunpowder a little bit too.
Yeah, kind of like it fresh, like somebody just struck a match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, we should have opened it up, and this is a young wine, but let's taste it and see what we think. Yeah, that's a punch you in the face wine.
Woo!
That is a punch
It
you.
is really, it is juicy,
Jammy.
and hot, and
Oh,
wow.
I feel it's very alcohol-y to the point where it almost is cocktail alcohol-y.
Oh, for sure. I mean, yeah, almost like a hard alcohol.
Hard alcohol.
Yeah, yeah.
Very alcohol-y.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, it is. It's almost like it's got a hint of like vodka, like a,
Kind of does.
or like a vodka cranberry. Maybe there's a little cranberry on it
Okay,
too.
there is tartness, for sure, tartness. I was thinking about like cherry kirsch, like, that alcohol, that kirsch alcohol. It's like a liqueur. And it's got like a hint of, it's cherry flavored, but it's a lot of alcohol.
Yeah.
I think some of the reviews were saying not a lot of complexity. I kind of agree. Like it's kind of a little bit of a one hit. I do think maybe if it was aged for a little bit, like it's
Might
pretty,
help.
it's
Yeah.
pretty young. Like it tastes super duper young to me.
Yeah, yeah. But, and it is very cherry juice too,
Totally.
tasting. Yeah. I mean, it is coming through. You're getting that flavor. But it's just big. It's just kind of a lot.
It's punch you in the face, like right off the bat. It's like blam.
Which is what I think they want to get.
Yeah.
People like that.
It's very dry. It's like a lot of tannin too. A lot of tannin. I would say like it's not like unbalanced, but it feels like it needs time in the bottle to kind of mellow out.
Yeah.
It's a baby. It's a baby.
Just a baby.
It's a baby.
And it is kind of like a red cherry, not like a really, it's dark red fruits, but like it does have a little bit of like a tartness, like something that you just maybe picked a little prematurely.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, just remember, this is not totally our style of wine, so I'm going to try to be fair in my rating about it.
What would you eat with it? We didn't go over that.
Oh, totally. Yeah, no, I jumped to the rating, but it's a red meat wine. No question about it.
Right. I almost think you could do cheeseburgers
Totally.
too. I mean, actually, I don't think it's a very like elegant wine. I think it's kind of a guy's wine. That sounds weird.
It's a meat wine.
Yeah, but
hey, we got some meat.
I mean, it's a girl's wine too, but it just has like
You know what
this.
this reminds me of? Oh, sorry, I cut you off.
No. I'm just like trying to kind of wrap my head around like when you would have this wine.
I know exactly when you'd have it.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to go back in the Wayback Machine. I'm going to tell you all a little story. When our daughter, not just my daughter, we both had the daughter. When our daughter was like first grade, second grade, we did this thing called Y Guides. It was YMCA or YWCA guides.
Right.
And I went with a bunch of knuckleheads who like to drink. And so we would put the girls to bed. Somebody would bring steaks. Somebody would bring this. Somebody bring that. Somebody bring the grill. We'd grill and we would drink wine. And this is the wine you have with grilled meat in the middle of nowhere. But that is the wine. This is exactly the wine for grilled meat fresh off the bobby.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those. And I can see being like at a cabin, at something a little informal.
Totally.
And you're just breaking out the wine because you're a little bit more sophisticated than beer.
Exactly. Or maybe you just have an open fire and you put a grate over it and you just cook some meat. Yeah. Now, when I said knuckleheads, I meant it in the nicest way. They were nice guys.
Oh, of course.
We were young dads. And
you were one of the knuckleheads.
Yeah, I was definitely one of the knuckleheads. We were just young dads like, hey, let's do this. So anyway.
I know. And the fact that us mothers allowed that.
That's the most amazing thing.
Mind-blowing to me that we were like, yeah, take our daughters for the weekend. And, a big bottle of Trader Joe's Diamond Reserve Cabernet Sauvignon. And
knuckleheads.
yeah, just go ahead. What were we thinking?
I don't know.
Oh, dear.
Okay, well, let's do a rating. As a reminding on a rating scale, we rate on a scale of 1 to 10. We don't give half points. 7 and above means we would buy it. 4 below means we're likely to pour it down the sink. And a 5 or a 6 means we drink it and we enjoy it. But we probably, we definitely wouldn't buy it. We might look for something else. So, Carmela, what rating would you give this wine?
It's hard because, like, if it was, I actually think the price point is not great for this bottle.
I agree with you.
Like, if it was a less expensive bottle of wine, I might consider buying it. Like, hey, you know what? It's like $8.99
for $8.
Exactly.
This is a
Like,
good
why
deal.
not? Like for a party or something.
Yeah.
But it's not like super cheap.
No, it's $20. That's significant.
I think we could find a better one.
Well, interestingly enough, people were saying the Platinum Reserve, which is $14.99, they liked better.
Right. So I'm going to give this, I don't hate it.
I agree.
I mean, it's not, what did the guy say? It's not like necessarily bad. No, what did he say?
I don't know. I don't know.
I can't remember. He was like, no, it's not necessarily
Oh, yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
Something like
yeah.
that.
The guy, the reviewer. Yeah.
So you know what? I'm going to give it a 6.
That's totally what I'm giving it too.
Okay.
I'd already written that down.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm a 6 as well. Like, it's not a bad wine.
No.
I'd be happy to drink this wine.
Right.
And if you did serve it, I honestly agree with you. Like, I think if you served it, if I was at somebody's house and you served this, I go, oh, well, they made a Costco run and they got some $10 bottle of wine.
They did a Trader Joe's run. This is Trader
They did a Trader Joe's run and they did a $10 bottle of wine. You know, I'd be like, this is good. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm happy drinking this.
It's a little surprising, the price point. Like, you go, oh, wow, really? Like,
yeah, and this is Oakville, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is like, nah, you know, for Cabernet. Okay, we're going to take a break and we're going to try our next wine. Okay, we are back and we're ready to try the second wine in the head-to-head Costco Kirkland Signature Series, Oakville Napa Valley Cabernet Sauvignon. It's from Napa Valley, California, surprisingly. Also 2022. Also $19.99 from Costco. Only 14% alcohol, 100% Cabernet Sauvignon. Reverse Wine Snob gave it a 6.8, and Vivino only had a 3.8 score on it, which, you know, again, the last one had a 4. But what about the color?
Pretty similar.
I think it's a little lighter. I honestly think it's just a touch lighter.
Yeah.
Like, it's more see-through. It's less opaque. But it's you know, same thing. It's similar. No.
It's young. It looks young. I mean, it doesn't look, or it doesn't have, any like aged look to it.
Again, getting legs. So, you know, the alcohol is showing on it. What are you smelling?
I feel like it's a little softer. Oh, really? Oh, wow. You were like, no.
No, it's
Get
a
more
little
in your glass. Maybe
it's-
I should pour in my glass.
No, it's probably fine. It's very earthy. A lot
Yeah, I was
of
gonna say-
clay, like clay.
Yes, it has a different kind of rounder smell though. The other one was like rubbing alcohol. It was so strong.
But I don't feel like I'm getting fruit on it very much.
I'm kind of getting more like maybe like a baking spice of sorts.
Yeah.
You know, like cloves
Yeah.
or something, kind of like or like allspice, some kind of baking spices, and maybe a little bit of vanilla on this one.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I'm getting more oak on this one. I feel like I'm getting a waft of like plum, like a dark plum.
What about like some bramble, like a blackberry
Yeah.
bramble?
Yeah, blackberry bramble. I like that.
A little because of the earthy side of it.
The dirt. Yeah, I got some dirt in there. Maybe even a little bit of like super ripe blueberry.
Ooh, I like a super ripe blueberry.
Okay, well, let's take. There's not a lot. I mean, it's hard to get a lot of smells out of this.
Yeah,
a lot
it
of
is.
aroma.
I mean, that's why I think it's almost a little subtle. I mean, in comparison to that first guy, this doesn't. They're very different. Let's just say that.
And I just feel, again, these are young and we did not open them. I feel like if we had opened this and maybe let it sit for half an hour, it might feel Carmel's like, oh my God, no, we're not doing that. But I kind of feel like it might be a little bit different. But anyway, let's taste it.
Okay.
I just have to tell you, sorry to cut in right away. On the sip, the smell that I got was very potpourri. And on the taste, I'm getting actually a sweet cherry taste.
Okay.
Or almost like a sweet raspberry. It's more tart.
It's almost like a syrup.
Yeah, syrupy. It's really syrupy.
Like the IHOP syrups. They have all the
Yes.
different flavors. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It was so fun. Yeah, I'm kind of getting a little syrupy, not as punch you in the face, like
Not at all.
And I also think maybe there's a hint of black pepper in this one too, though, in the taste.
It's clean. It's not as big in the mouth. It's not as alcohol-y. I mean, I know it's lower alcohol, but I think you can kind of tell that. I do feel like maybe it's a little bit more mellow. Like it's more mellow.
I think so for sure.
I would love to taste this tomorrow and see what I think, because I think it might taste a little better. But it's kind of got this, like, it's a little warm in the stomach. I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, for sure.
Like in the mouth, not as much, but now I'm kind of feeling it in my guts.
Ooh.
Which is not awesome, but I do feel like it's a more smoother, more tamped down version, which I prefer.
Right.
A little bit more what you might call austere. Now, I don't think it's like super like elegant wine, but I think it's just a little bit less boom.
Yeah. I still think this is, pretty much like a campfire.
Yeah. Same thing.
With the gals.
You threw a steak on the fire.
Right.
And then it burnt. And then you forgot because you forgot to put the grill.
Oh, wow.
And then you took it out of the fire and then you burnt your hand.
And this all happened because you were drunk
right.
drinking
and you poured wine on it, and then that didn't help because it hurt a little bit. And then you wasted the wine. But still, you drank more wine and then you felt better.
Yeah.
Okay. What other food might you have with this? Pizza.
Pizza would be good. Yeah. Something like doughy would be delicious.
We might be going out to pizza tonight.
Calzone.
Yeah, to my friend Derek's pizza, the grandma style slices, Detroit style.
I'm excited about that. Yeah, I think this would actually be good with something like doughy, fluffy, a focaccia. Sandwich would be good. A big meatball sandwich.
Yeah,
that would be nice.
I think it'd be good with Italian food. I think it would do just fine. Again, not like a super elegant wine, at least at this point. Maybe in 5 years, maybe so, but not right now.
No.
Okay, what rating might you give this wine at Carmela?
I'm kind of in the same camp. Like, I just don't know if I'm going to buy this.
Okay, fair enough.
I just don't know. I mean, I would drink it, no problem. I just don't know if I'm going to buy this wine. So I'm going to give it a 6.
Okay. I'm actually going to give it a 7. I like it.
Okay.
Now, price point, I might have to agree with the reverse wine snob. For the price point, I'm not sure it's $20 worth.
That's where I'm kind of having the problem.
Yeah, but I think just pure flavor wise, I'm good with it. Like, I think it's a nice wine. Like, it's not a bad wine. It's a nice wine. It's not a great wine. It's not like knock you out. Like, let's go crazy. $20, I can do better. I can do better than this wine for $20, but I would buy it. So, I think we're pretty close on both of these wines in terms of like our ratings and what we're considering them. But I do prefer this wine. So what wine would you finish tonight?
I would finish this wine as well.
Yeah, you were going to say something.
Well, I was just wondering, do you think like a real Cab Sauv lover?
I don't think so.
Would not be into this?
I don't think so.
Okay,
I think a real like Cabernet Sauvignon, like a real California Cabernet Sauvignon lover, I think wants something bigger.
Yeah. That's kind of my thought. That's why I'm like not sure I would buy it. It's because I'd be probably buying it for somebody else.
But again, yes, true. Like, and for me, this is a fine wine. And again, I just think they're kind of young and they probably need a little bit more time.
Right.
Okay, well, let's talk about the taste profiles expected from Oakville Cabernet Sauvignon. The general for a Napa Cab is black currant, ripe plum, licorice, black cherry, raspberry, blueberry, blackberry, pencil lead, dusty, violet, sage, cedar, mocha, espresso, and tobacco. Dusty is what I was smelling on this, I think, now that they say it.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, Trader Joe's Reverse Wine Snob says, opens with aromas of dark fruit, spice, a little vanilla, and more. Not super sweet and as simple as the 2020. Smooth with lots of deep, dark fruit, nice tannic structure. It features similar flavors to the nose. It's also dry and not sweet at all. It ends dry and long. Vino Pointer said heady aromas of blackberry and oak. Pours a nice opaque deep violet. Flavors of blackberry, cassis, blueberry, and toast. This wine goes light on the tannins and so medium-bodied and soft and approachable. You'd think it was a red blend or a Merlot. I'm like, I didn't think it was soft.
No.
Now, maybe if we let it sit for half an hour, it might soften up. but I didn't find it soft.
No.
I found it a little bit aggressive.
Absolutely. I mean, just that amount of alcohol, I don't think that you're going to have a soft wine.
No, I agree. So I don't agree with their rating of it or their description of it. The Costco Kirkland Signature Series, the label says dark fruit aromas of sun-warmed blackberry, cassis, and plum preserves that match seamlessly with vanilla and baking spice notes of toasted French oak. Well, we got a lot of that, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Reverse Wine Snob says, opens with a pleasant enough aroma of ripe black cherry and blackberry, along with vanilla, a bit of cedar, a bit of spice, and a bit of mint. That's interesting. Green notes. I think that's true. I think we were getting some green notes. Soft and smooth. It's still a bit oaky when first opened, but definitely more fruit forward with a touch of sweetness and a bit of artificial flavor. That's also interesting. Costco Wine Blog says it pours a medium to dark ruby in the glass with dusty aromas of dark fruit, vanilla, and pencil shavings. Medium plus in body with tight tannins, good fruit, a bit of different profile from previous vintages, black cherry flavor that tastes a little young and disjointed into the finish. So I said it was young tasting as well.
Right.
So anyway, Carmela, who won the challenge, do you think? For us, who won the challenge?
For us, definitely Costco.
Yeah.
And that's not because we have a Costco bias.
We do, but also we have
but it's not because of that, I don't think.
Oh, it's not because of that. But I think we do have a softer wine bias.
For sure.
And so I think this is what I would say. If you are a Cabernet Sauvignon, like a California Cabernet Sauv, like you're a fan of that kind of wine, and you want something a little bolder, more aggressive, Trader Joe's. Like go with the Trader Joe's.
Agree.
If you want something a little bit more mellow, a little bit easier to drink, a little bit maybe won't be too overly aggressive, we like the Costco. So there you go. Like it's your flavors. I will just say overall for the price.
Oh, Costco for sure.
No, but yes, but I was.
Oh, what do you mean? Oh, for the price, it's not really worth it in our opinion.
Yeah, I think $20 is for our wine podcast. You know, we increased to $25, but still $20 is a decent price to pay for a bottle of wine. And I think you can find a lot better bottles of wine for $20.
I just think we have. Yeah, for sure. That's the only drawback to I mean, not the only, but like, I think that is what's turning me off a little bit.
Yeah, they're not bad wines. They're just not worth the price, is what I would say.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit disappointing because you want this, with this premium label, you want a premium wine experience.
Yep.
So,
but there's lots of wines at Costco and Trader Joe to fit the bill.
There are, and you can listen to our previous episodes to see which ones you should buy. But you know what, Carmela? It's time for us to go. So before we do, we want to thank you very much for listening to us. Please feel free to support us by subscribing or leaving us a nice 5-star rating and review. And we'd love to hear from you. So tell us about a wine you want us to try or a wine area of the world you'd like us to explore. You can leave a message for us on our website, thewinepairpodcast.com. You can join our email newsletter there. And you can also reach out at joe@thewinepairpodcast.com. You can DM us on Instagram or Blue Sky. We always respond to people. We love hearing from you. But with that, we're going to sign off. So thank you once again. We'll see you next time. And as we like to say, life is short, so stop drinking shitty wine. Bye-bye.
Bye.